Szeth, son Bolano, truthless of Shinovar, wore white on the day he was to kill a king. The white clothing was a Parshendi tradition, foreign to him. But he did as his masters required and did not ask for an explanation. He sat in a large stone room, baked by enormous fire pits that cast a garish light upon the revelers, causing beads of sweat to form on their skin as they danced and drank and yelled and sang and clapped. Some fell to the ground red-faced, the revelry too much for them, their stomachs proving to be inferior wineskins. They looked as if they were dead, at least until their friends carried them out of the feast hall to waiting beds. Szeth did not sway to the drums, drink the sapphire wine, or stand to dance. He sat on a bench at the back, a still servant in white robes. Few at the treaty signing celebration noticed him. He was just a servant, and Shin were easy to ignore. Most out here in the east thought Szeth's kind were docile and harmless. They were generally right. The drummers began a new rhythm. The beats shook Szeth like a quartet of thumping hearts, pumping waves of invisible blood through the room. Szeth's masters, who were dismissed as savages by those in more civilized kingdoms, sat at their own tables. They were men with skin of black, marbled with red. Parshendi, they were named, cousins to the more docile servant peoples known as Parshmen in most of the world. An oddity. They did not call themselves Parshendi. That was the Alethi name for them. It meant roughly, Parshmen who can think. Neither side seemed to see that as an insult. The Parshendi had brought the musicians. At first, the Alethi Light Eyes had been hesitant. To them, drums were bass instruments of the common dark-eyed people. But wine was the great assassin of both tradition and propriety, and now the Alethi elite danced with abandon. Szeth stood and began to pick his way through the room. The revelry had lasted long. Even the king had retired hours ago, but many still celebrated. As he walked, Szeth was forced to step around Dalinar Kholin, the king's own brother, who slumped drunken at a small table. The aging but powerfully built man kept waving away those who tried to encourage him to bed. Where was Yasna, the king's daughter? Elokar, the king's son and heir, sat at the high table